Okay, welcome everybody to the Holistic Truth Live right here on Facebook. We are going live on 4 different streams. We are on YouTube, on the Weiner Wellness and Nutritional Frontiers channel, and both Facebook for Weiner Wellness Center and Nutritional Frontiers. My name is Tracey Straub. I'll be your host tonight. I'm the VP of Education and Marketing at Nutritional Frontiers, and with me tonight is owner Jamie Dorley and CEO of Nutritional Frontiers, and of course, the Godfather, Joe Messino, back again, and we are here to talk a little bit about a metabolic boost. I don't know about you guys, but I need a boost.
Don't we all need a boost?
Everybody needs a boost now.
And I love it how we're in 4 different streams and we're in 3 different states. So I'm in Ohio, Joe's in PA, and Tracey's in Tyrone.
Yeah.
We're not sure where that is, but it can't be in Ohio or PA. So thanks so much for having me back on. And we need a little metabolic laughter tonight, too.
Yeah.
Does everybody remember laughter?
I do. I've worked here the whole time. We've never forgotten. So yeah, metabolic boost. It seemed to be fitting for June. The world is opening back up. Thank goodness. People are getting out. They want to get back to exercise and healthy lifestyle and hitting the beach. And I really just feel like we need a reset, right? We just need to reset our metabolism. We need to reset our endocrine system. So Joe, why don't you tell us a little bit, what does it mean to have a metabolic boost?
A metabolic boost. I love the term metabolism or, a metabolic something in the body, because what does that really mean? Well, it could mean the building up of something in the body. It could mean the breaking down of something in the body in simple terms. So, when you're detoxing or breaking down food, that's a metabolic process. When you're creating energy, that's a metabolic process. So a metabolic process is something that either creates or tears down and derives from. And that's all about energy, because you got to break down the food to get to the energy, and you've got to then boost and create the ATP, get it into the cells. So that's the whole process.
Yeah, that's a great point, Joe. And I think people sometimes, especially nowadays, they confuse boosting the metabolism with stimulant, right?
Sure.
They're trying to stimulate their body into this zone where you can't. We're talking about cellular metabolic boosting, which is completely different. A lot of people call me about energy drinks, and they may use extra caffeine, or some people use nicotine. A lot of people use sugar. There's so many different ways people try and get that artificial stimulation. But we're talking about boosting the metabolism at the cellular level. Completely different approach to it. Much better results and long-term success, right? Because when people are doing this artificial stimulation, they always have a rebound effect, right? And this has been going on for a long time in the fitness industry. I know Tracey being a certified trainer and Joe, martial art expert. We've seen all these different people come and go in the fitness industry with these fads. They pop up for a couple of years, they're popular, and then they go away. But we're talking about metabolic boosts that you can sustain long term. I think it all starts with what you feed the body and keeping that blood sugar balance, because when it's not, that's when people are going to search for that extra stimulant that is really a bad short-term solution. It's not going to help them in the long term.
When we were watching Dr. Robert O. Young and the cup of cancer that he told me that I had every morning, I was like, whoa. But you go for that extra cup of coffee way too much, especially at like 3:00 in the afternoon when your blood sugar's dropping and you just need a little pick me up. That's usually a sign that you might need some ATP, you might need some energy, or you might need detox. So Joe, I liked how you tied that all together, right? It's not just about producing energy, but it's about having enough energy to detoxify, and both can lead to a stagnant system. So that was kind of a great tie-in. So June, we are focusing on metabolic boost, and we're going to feature some of our key nutrients that really help with all of the things we just talked about: oxygenation, ATP production, just really helping the body with the structures, the systems, the organs, all of the functions that are involved. And we have 3 specific products that we chose. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some nutrition that you can use to target the metabolism.
Yeah, I think it all starts for me is, Joe, we've been told you can't double dip, right? Have you heard that?
I've heard that a few times.
So we double dip last month, and this month, double dip's not enough. So we're gonna do the triple dip, right? So we're doing the triple dip special, and it all starts with keto. And people say, I say, look, I don't do keto 100%, but let's look about why the keto program works so well. First of all, when you eat sugar, what does the body do? It craves more sugar. So it's once too many, 1,000's never enough. So if you do anything this month, let's have a sugar-free June, right? So if you cut back on that sugar, you're going to notice a difference immediately on how the brain feels, because the brain's going to have a much more steady stream of energy. So if you cut that out, especially in the morning, you're going to feel completely different. Your energy level is going to be much more consistent and higher. So I love the keto. It gives you a good high quality fats. It gives you moderate protein and very low carbs, just some fiber in there. So that works so well because as we learned at Paulina's seminar series, that what you give the body in the morning it tells the body what to do. So if you give the body sugar in the morning, it's going to tell the body to store sugar and store fat. So that's a big problem for most people. Plus your energy levels, your blood sugar is going to be up and down, and it's very difficult to get that rebalance later in the day. If you start out with something like keto, sometimes I'll even do a half a scoop of this with a scoop of Super Shake. It gives you the extra good fats to sustain, and it tells your body right away to burn sugar, to burn fat. Doesn't everybody want that? I mean, how many people come to you, Tracey, when you were training or even as a naturopath now and say, oh, I can't lose weight, or how do I get my metabolism to increase, right?
Everybody looks at weight as something that they need to lose when it's really just a dysfunction. And I'll tell them, I don't look at weight any different than if you would tell me if you had cardiovascular problems or thyroid issues. Like, it's your body's symptom of what's going wrong inside. And it usually has to do with toxicity or nutrient deficiency, which is going to create a lack of energy, a lack of ATP production, a lack of cellular regeneration, and your body's going to start to slow down to be conservative so that it sustains your life, which is what it's set up to do.
Yeah, and we're a generation away, Joe. You remember, Tracy's not old enough, but we were old enough to remember
this is true.
We went to the no-fat diet in the early 80s.
Yes, yeah.
And what happened?
Non-fat diet, and everybody got fat.
And got diabetes.
Oh,
right?
Diabetes, got fat. They had all the cakes and cookies and everything.
Snackwells were the bomb. Snackwells, Joe.
Yeah.
Those are fat-free cookies for people that don't know.
Oh, my God.
I remember Snackwells.
I've had one or two of those, yeah.
It was really bad. It was really bad.
Well, I did an entire lecture on the decades of diets. And, really it started with Twiggy, with the vegan. And, of course, no fat. That's kind of where it came from. Then it went into fat-free. Then we went from fat-free to Atkins, and Atkins into paleo into keto. And it's like, we're still the fattest, sickest country in the world. So guess what? It's probably not working. So we may want to try to take a new approach and really try to approach this from a scientific and biological standpoint, rather than try to burn calories or lose fat or burn fat, which isn't possible anyway, and try to accelerate the body in energy production and detoxification. And I think if we take that path, you're going to have a lot better results. So.
Well, Jamie always talks about the two sources of energy, sugar or carbs and fats. And, it's so true, because this whole keto craze came about because people were trying to find a way to burn the fat as energy, right? To use that as an energy source. Because once and the reason we got to that point is because with, like he said earlier, the amounts of sugar in our diet.
Crazy.
You put so much sugar, you eat sugar, everything you eat turns to sugar. So the insulin production's there, right? Insulin is made by your body to get that sugar into the cells for energy, first source of energy. But, if it can't get it in the cell, or you have so much in your bloodstream that you can't make enough insulin for it, then that has to go somewhere. It gets stored. Where does it get stored? As body fat. So then that never those are energy stores that stay there forever unless you can turn that switch. And that's what ketosis is all about. turning that switch to start burning that stored energy. And you can't do that if you're still eating a high carb diet.
Yeah, because we have a limited capacity to store carbohydrates, right? You can store a lot of body fat, but carbohydrates really depends on how much muscle you have. You store it in the liver and the glycogen in the muscle. So if you're not holding a lot of muscle, you probably can consume 300 to 400 grams of carbs and your tank is full. The challenge is any fat you eat with that is going right to storage fat, right? So if you don't burn those carbs up, if you're not active, look at the standard American diet. It's high carb and high fat, right? And high processed carbs.
And high sugar.
Yeah.
High everything.
You're eating a lot of energy, and most of it you're storing, and your body becomes a fat storage machine. So we want to do the switch that. It doesn't take years, months, weeks. It actually takes one meal. If you do something like the keto shake just for breakfast, you're going to give your body a high fuel source of fats, because on an equal weight, fats have more than double the energy as carbohydrates and protein. So when you do something like the keto shake, you tell your body to burn fat, and you have double the energy from equal amount of food. So it's a great way to get the metabolic boost that we're all looking for. And you can do a modified keto. I don't do 100% keto, but I try and eliminate as much as possible the starchy carbs, right? So when you do that, your body, I don't count the fiber, the vegetables and stuff. But if you do that, you're going to get that fat burning effect instantly and get that metabolic boost in one meal. So we made the keto so easy right now. It tastes fantastic. We got the free shaker bottles, and we have the travel packs for summertime.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things that it's important for people to understand that metabolism is really about converting your food for the energy to run all your cellular processes. So first you have to have the right quality food. You have to have good nutrition, and you have to have the right amount of fats, carbs, and proteins, like Jamie was saying, because that's how we fuel the body with lipids and amino acids. And then we have to be able to get rid of metabolic waste. So those three things are important. And we learned from Paulina Petrusevich, who's coming back in July to teach again in Pittsburgh, all about nutrient timing and, how to utilize nutrition to your advantage to kind of restart your metabolism. And she has a very unique way of what she calls nutrient manipulation in order to help the body start up again. So kind of using fat in the morning if you're not going to exercise, because there's no reason you need carbohydrates. You need protein and you need fat because you have your endocrine system that's kicking in when you wake up in the morning. Your cortisol is shifting. Your growth hormone is shifting. So you need good fats and protein. If you're going to work out, then you have to have a little bit of carbs. And she's very adamant about eating more often. Right. So that was like the old Bill Phillips models, guys. You remember Bill Phillips, like back in the day, Body for Life. And he had the bodybuilders eating 5 to 6 times a day. So we see that on the extremes, right, that the body either wants fuel all the time or it wants fasting. And both will work to increase metabolic function. It's just really about the timing of when you use it. And I love intermittent fasting, but I really think the issue with it is 2 things for people. If you do it properly, it's an amazing tool. But I think people use it as a dietary tool. So they starve themselves and then eat junk. And the people that are doing it don't take in enough good fat, protein, and carbs before they do it. So they go into a further state of depletion rather than a metabolic reset, which is what it really is. So, Joe, can you touch on some intermittent fasting for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, a way to force your body into that state of ketosis on a regular basis. You know, the whole basis behind intermittent fasting is to use the energy you consume. Okay, use it. Don't store it. Use it. And once you've used what you consume, start using your stores of energy. And you do that by setting your body into ketosis. Now, what I like about it is, and I found that the one that I think works the best is like the 16-hour one. You can start at 12 hours. 18 is pretty much as high as you should go. But that sweet spot, somewhere between 12 and 16 hours. And that's only from the time of your last meal of the day till the time of your first meal of the next day. Is that hard to do? No, come on. That's not, you don't have to go a whole day without food. That's what people
I've been
think about.
intermittent fasting for years without even trying.
Without even
That's
knowing
that's
it, right?
that's life of a mom. You're like, what
Right.
time is it? Did I eat today? Like,
Yeah,
what day
exactly.
is this?
So what I do most of the time, and I don't do it 7 days a week, but I do it pretty much 5 days a week, is my first meal, my last meal of the day, I try to be done by between 7 and 8 o'clock. And then next meal of the day is around noon the next day. And that, that seems to work really well. You can still have coffee in the morning. You don't put any sugar and cream in it. But if you're just drinking black and espresso or maybe a little coconut oil, you can put in a little bit of fat, but keep,
How about some Nido Keto? Have you ever put that in coffee, Joe?
I haven't done that one yet.
That's a ketachino. It's just so much. It's a ketachino. But that's a great point. I mean, Jamie, think about it. How many women are fatophobic and have endocrine issues? Why is that? Why couldn't we just add in the keto? Just to get more good fat, because it's kind of hard.
It does make it real creamy. It gives you those extra nutrients, and it helps you make some healthier choices, right? Because what I'm hearing a lot right now, and even back when I was doing training for people, quality of food is really important, right?
Right.
I think most people understand that, right? Broccoli versus Twinkie, right? The quality is vital. The quantity too. You can't eat plates and plates of healthy food. I think the part that most people are uneducated about is the timing, right? And I like this, I'm not a big intermittent fasting guy. I'll do it a little bit, but I like, because my question to people is, well, what do you eat then, right? I had lunch with a client a few months back, and he was doing intermittent fasting. We had lunch ordered. I had a grilled chicken salad. The woman had a grilled chicken salad. He had chicken wings. And I looked at him. I was like, Doc, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm intermittent fasting. It's my only meal of the day. I was like, what about your family tonight? Do you want to eat dinner with your family? No. I'm like, but why wings? He said I can eat whatever I want. I said, that's not a long-term solution.
Oh, that's not even the correct way to do intermittent fasting. No. You shouldn't eat one meal a day. Yeah. You should eat for an 8-hour period, and then have like a 16-hour where you don't eat. So
right. Yeah. And when you do eat, you should have nutrition. Right. So I'm going to pause you guys real quick, because people are asking about the July 29th event. Not that I want to jump into that, but why not if people are asking? So July 29th, Paulina will be coming back. We are doing Diabesity, the Perfect Storm. She and I spoke in Tampa, and we did functional weight loss. So I talked about the anatomy of adipocytes, how metabolic function works. And then she had an entire proprietary system that she uses. And she's going to come back and teach that again with Dr. Richard Silva, who is a DO from Florida as well. And he does a lot with endocrine dysfunction and diabetes in particular. So he's going to be talking about type 1, 2, and 3 diabetes in the morning. And then Paulina is going to be sharing her proprietary information and helping us all get metabolically fit in the afternoon. So if you can make that, it's in Pittsburgh, PA, July 29th. You can sign up at nutritionalfrontiers.com. You just click the events tab and you register. It's one price for your whole office. If you can't join us live and in person, then you can join us live stream, or you can get the playback recording. So don't miss this, because 2 incredible speakers coming in. And Jamie, you know them both personally.
Absolutely. And Pauline and Tracey had a sold out event in Tampa back in February. Not a seat left in the house, Joe. So well received.
I think we were oversold.
Yeah, well, who was counting, right, when we oversold, right? So it was a great event, and 2 great speakers. So we want to bring Paulina back and then shake it up a little bit with Dr. Richard Silva. He's a functional medicine osteopath, right? So that's a combination of a medical doctor and a chiropractor. He treats the whole body as one, rather than symptoms management. And he actually has both of them have had personal experiences, right? Paulina, did you ever see her pictures when she was younger? She doesn't even look like her, and then she went into bikini and fitness competitions. And once she got a hold of the lifestyle, she got great results. And Dr. Silva the same way, high stress life. He had some issues and he got it cleared up. He's doing great. These are 2 great speakers. We're going to have the whole team in Nutritional Frontiers. I'm going to do a little opening act to get the crowd warmed up. Tracey will be there to answer any questions. Joe will be there, the entire team. This is a great event. And not only for us to be there, but the camaraderie of the network of people you get exposed to. That's a part I'm most proud of. The types of people we have, from acupuncture to CCN, naturopath, medical doctor, pharmacist, chiropractor, therapist. I got yelled out last time I didn't mention her. So we have all different types of disciplines that will be
You
there.
got to get yelled at least once, Jamie. You know, come on.
Per day? Yeah, I do. I do. Don't worry. I met my quota today for the next 2 years, so we're good. But it's a great event because there's so many different people that will be there, and you learn from like-minded people. And I think it gives a great sense of community that we're not out there alone. And that, hey, if you want to network with doctors, and sometimes people share clients or send them for one therapy that they don't offer and vice versa. Plus for your own health. I mean, I love it because I get to meet with people, and that's how I picked up a few of my doctors, right? So it's a great event, July 29th. It's going to be right here in Canonsburg, right outside of Pittsburgh, PA. Great location, free parking. We put a nice event on because I've been to a lot of seminars in the past where I felt they weren't really productive. So we give you a nice schedule. You learn a lot. You get to experience a lot. You get to take home a lot of freebies. We have giveaways, free healthy lunch, and we get you out of there on time. So it's a nice day to really learn. And I think people will be impressed that haven't been there before. And a lot of people come back that have been there at events before.
Yeah, there's people coming that I know saw the last one, and I think it's great. And you know, I want to actually sit and enjoy and listen, which is going to be nice for me. You know, I'm usually speaking, and I'm worried, and I'm prepping, and I'm looking through my PowerPoint.
Listen,
huh? I am. I know. I'm going to listen. It's going to be a miracle. So. Yeah, it's a first for everything, but and I might put my 2 cents in. You know me. I might go up there with Len at the end of the day and just give a little lecture.
Yeah, you and I could do a Q&A at the end.
All right, we will.
There's a lot of comments on here. I want to congratulate Heather. She did keto the last couple of weeks. She's eating clean proteins, keto, energy levels through the roof, feels great, down 15 pounds. Right.
That's great.
So it's a great kickstart. The biggest challenge I find with people that do keto or drop the carbs is they think it ends, right? It doesn't end. It's a lifestyle. You can add in some carbs now and then, but you know, I used to work with a couple of high-level fitness people, male and female, and it was interesting the way they put it. The one guy who's like one of the top trainers in the world, he says, look, you can choose carbs or fat for energy. You can't choose both. When you go with the lower fat, higher carbs, he said it's much harder because every time you eat carbs, it stimulates your cravings. And when you do keto, it balances out leptin and adiponectin levels, right? So those are what make you hungry, burn fat, feel full. So you can do it either way, but I think the reason people do so well is that those fats provide a lot of satiety, and you don't have those cravings you do when you try and do with carbs. It's much harder, even for elite athletes, to do a higher carb program. Some do, but it's much harder to do that.
Yeah.
And some elite athletes, I mean, let's face it, the average person isn't an elite athlete, you know, at that level of performance, needing maybe both all the time. I mean, most of the time we're sitting at our desk job for 8 hours a day, running kids to and from sports and working out for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So our entire lifestyle and energy burning is completely different than it was even 50, 60 years ago. So we have to take into account for that. But let's move into some of our featured products this month. And we are having these at 20% off. So this is a great deal for practitioners to stock up, guys, because people are going to be looking for things that are going to help them be, you know, more energized and functional. They really want that good metabolic boost. That's what the world is waiting for. So we have 3 great products on sale in addition to the triple dip Nido Keto, Pro Oranges, Enter CoQ10, and Enter DMG. And I want to break these down, each one of them, because they all deserve a little bit of a spotlight. So let's start with our newest and most reformulated and delicious Pro Oranges.
Well, absolutely, Joe. I mean, this is one of your favorite formulas.
Yeah, and I mean, but it's always been Jamie's. So of the Pro Color's always been his favorite, and I like it. It's it's always taken a backseat to the greens for me and the reds, but I like it because it's got some interesting nutrients in here that you don't see very often. But not only that, the level and the variety of fruits and veggies that are in this formula, it just blows me away every time, because you've got things in here where you think oranges, pro oranges, okay. You got oranges, you got tangerines, maybe you got some grapefruit or something like that, maybe some pineapple. I mean, when's the last time you had a kumquat? It's in there.
It's been a while, Joe. I'm really craving one right now.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's in there. How about a persimmon? What's a persimmon? Am I even saying that right?
Well, let's just start with just letting people know what our pro colors are. So we have 4 different varieties. And Jamie, can you just give us a little background on what they are?
Yeah, these are fruit and veggie based powders, right? The idea is to drink your nutrients. If you suffer from flavor fatigue from water, if people are craving energy drinks, right? Or you want to drink your nutrients, right? So the great thing about the colors is that you can have one that you love, or you can rotate them through. So we have the greens for cleansing, we have the purples for aging, we have the reds that covers everything, and the orange is really for blood sugar, energy, and fitness. I love the oranges not only for the taste, it reminds me of Tang, old school orange drink, but it's got the fruit and veggies in there. It also has some great things for a metabolic boost. The thing in particular I think we often forget is it gives you nutrients for your brain. Inositol, DMG, and ginseng. So it's a non-caffeinated pop to the neurotransmitters in your brain. So people have a lot more mental energy. Most people are not physically tired. They are mentally tired. Even when you're on the treadmill or you're walking, you're counting the dots on the treadmill. So this will give you more energy without stimulating you. It also gives you a nice blood sugar balance with green coffee bean extract. And it gives you that cellular energy with things like CoQ10. So really easy to take. You put it right in one of our shaker bottles, add water and shake it right up. It mixes great, tastes great. And it'll give you that metabolic boost without the heavy stimulant that often has a crash as a result. There's no crash on pro oranges.
No.
So a lot of people like this in the afternoon because it'll get them from that 2 to 5 o'clock period. And you can do it by itself, or you can add it right into one of the smoothies, right? So you can put it in with the keto, the super shake, the whey. So it's a nice addition or a great standalone too.
I think the green coffee bean extract really needs to be front and center. It's an amazing nutrient. As you said, the chlorogenic and caffeic acids. Now, these are the benefits that you would get from coffee. But we take out, the bad part. There's no caffeine. But these 2 acids, chlorogenic and caffeic, play a major, major role. One helps with energy production, and the other helps with slowing down the glucose that you take in with a meal, slowing it, getting it into the bloodstream. So that's where where Jamie was mentioning the blood sugar aspect of it. So to get these 2 acids without the caffeine is the real star of this formula. And green coffee bean extract, it's been in the oranges since day one, the last 12, 13 years. And then, there people were using it by itself, adding it into weight loss formulas. But, like a lot of things, we were there first. And it is at 450 milligrams. It's a nice dose of this nutrient. So
we got to give people options, right? I know it's tough when you're going from an energy drink to nothing, right? You're going from 6, 8 coffees a day to nothing. So this is a nice transition for people. It'll help their adrenal glands. It'll give them the mental and cellular energy. And we got to give people an alternative. I mean, the last study I looked at for energy drinks, 500% increase in strokes. So you factor in the energy drinks with COVID, no wonder a lot of younger people are having strokes these days. It's becoming more common. That and blood clots, right? Yeah,
and they don't even think about it, Jamie. They don't think about what it's doing to their body. Not to mention the adrenal burnout that kind of stuff causes. And, we think of adrenals as like an endocrine issue or a separate issue. And it's really a product of stress. And stress is stress. It's food stress, environmental stress, emotional stress. Your body can't tell the difference. It has the same response. And using something like this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're kind of hitting that crash is so much more nutrifying to the body and nutritious, and it helps with the adrenal rebuild. It's just a great way to to move through the day. And kids will drink this. Athletes should be drinking this. This is also great for a pre-workout drink. So, it can give you energy to go in there, and not because it's stimulating you up with a bunch of caffeine, but because it's giving you nutrition. Zach just texted me. I was thinking about him.
I was just thinking of him too. I was about to say,
Zach, I'm calling you out. You've been busted.
It's okay. You got my approval.
So awesome. Thank you. So, oranges.
Our own Mike Strachey too, the Raptor, when he was a star goalie, in his hockey playing days, he would not play, practice, or compete without Pro Oranges. He said it made all the difference in the world for sustainable energy. So, first, top-rate athletes, this should be in your pouch.
Yeah. And this is one I give to my kids. I mean, he's 11. He's not in college, but he'll drink this. And it's hard when you're a mom, you're trying to get your kids to drink things and they don't want to drink it. But I'm going to jump to my favorite. And this is also something I use for my 11-year-old because it's safe. We shouldn't be scared of nutrition. But NRDMG, this is hands down probably it's in my top 3, probably my favorite. I would still say it's still my favorite. But NRDMG, dimethylglycine, so good. I like how it
Joe,
blacks
her
out
top
the
3
box.
favorites are you, me, and NRDMG.
That's right. You got it.
No particular order, as long as I'm in the top.
That's right. Well, NRDMG is a methylator or methyl donor. It's an oxygenator. It's a driver of nutrition. It just does so many things, and it's one of my absolute favorites and must-haves in my house. I use this for everything. If I see somebody getting sick, they get NRDMG. If they're tired, they get NRDMG. If they're overstimulated, they get NRDMG because it helps balance neurotransmitters. So this is an incredible supplement because it's like an adaptogen. It does what your body needs.
Yeah, exactly. That's still to this day, one of the best kept secrets in our industry. Nobody talks about it like we do. Nobody promotes it like we do. We're getting results other people can't believe. And it's because of our use of DMG as a standalone and in so many of our condition-specific formulas. But as a standalone, 2 great delivery methods, chewable, your favorite, Tracey, liquid, absolutely. Either one, you can't go wrong. Marathoners, triathletes, this should be in your pack, whatever you carry with you to compete during those, multi-hour events. And I've had a lot of triathletes using the NRDMG, and they won't race without it. They just won't race without it.
Jamie, can you give us a little history on this? Like, where did it come from? What is it?
Yeah, and you say, Joe, a best kept secret. I met with one of our top clients in Ohio, and lo and behold, he asked if we have TMG. And I was like, no, we have DMG because the DMG comes with 5 U.S. patents. I says, you never heard of it? I'm shocked. He never did and didn't even get the DMG book. But Heather, who's been following us on here, received her DMG book and just said thanks. She's learning a lot and taking her supplements. But when I started talking DMG with him, I says, look, this has been around for 40 plus years. A friend of ours, Joe, his grandfather was a thoroughbred horse racer. And he discovered this in Eastern European countries, and they actually were calling it vitamin B15 pangamic acid, and they found that it helped with oxidative stress. It helped decrease lactic acid buildup. It was great as a methylator, and it basically does it. It gets in the body and it donates itself to all the methylation steps. So think about all those important steps that are often compromised in anybody who's active, right, or stressed. Think about a horse, right? And the great thing with the horse is that, we don't expect to get any placebo effect. So even though the horse said it made him feel better, his racing and recovery was improved, right? Mm-hmm. So he got much better results utilizing this for a racehorse. And then what happened is they started doing more research, and there was 5 U.S. patents. One for the treatment of inflammatory disease and immune response, so autoimmune rheumatoid arthritis. That's why we have it in the GI Complete, because it'll cool down inflammation in the gut, and it starts the repair mechanism right away. There's also a U.S. patent on it for the treatment of melanoma in mice studies. And we actually have pictures where the tumors, you can see before and then after DMG, they're dramatically reduced, right? So that's why we have things like Immunomax to help build the immune system. Now, I'm not making any claims, we're just citing the studies. In addition, there is one for joint health. That's why I've utilized DMG and X-Flame for years. So 5 U.S. patents on DMG in the U.S. We utilize as a standalone and in a lot of different formulations, including things like our Woman's Complete. So the question that comes up is, well, how come I don't know about it? I said, well, nobody's really pumped the money into advertising it, really,
right,
marketing it properly, except us and a friend of ours, right? So dosing-wise, that always comes up second is, I say 125 to 2,500 milligrams. 125 would be like in our Super B Complete, 500 to 1,000 for gut and anti-inflammatory and autoimmune. And then when you get to the cancer, about 2,500. The nice thing is, Joe, is you had mentioned some triathletes, right? So even if you're not a triathlete, maybe you're a weekend warrior, you're like me, you like to work out, right? You want to be active. Or you've taken some time off with COVID and now you're trying to get moving again. You have a lot of lactic acid buildup, right? You have poor oxygen utilization. We always talk about water and food. We don't often talk about oxygen.
Right.
Right. I can go probably a month without food, a week without water, but not real long without oxygen, right? So the DMG will help you utilize oxygen better. So if you're just getting back into it, if you're a weekend warrior or you're pushing the limits a little more, you can take the DMG as you are participating in activity, right?
Right.
If you're doing some type of prolonged activity or a race of some sort, you can take it multiple times during the day. I love taking the Pro Oranges and DMG before I work out or even before I do yard work, because using muscles, you're sweating more. So it's got a long history of safe and effectiveness. The studies at Clemson University on toxicity, you'd have to take over 4,000 dosages, not milligrams, doses, which obviously you couldn't do in a day, and there's no toxicity. It basically just donates itself to all the methylation steps in the body. You can utilize low dosages up to more therapeutic, and we've been utilizing with great results as a standalone, plus as part of a lot of our formulas. I mentioned GI Complete, Immunomax, Woman's Complete, Super B.
Pro Oranges.
It's not only the Pro Oranges, it's in the greens. And we have it as by itself this month in the special with the chewable. And then we have it as a part of a combination we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yeah, great stuff. And I love Dr. Kendall's quote where he says, DMG falls apart so you don't have to. So,
I love it.
Well,
you want to know what DMG stands for? Darn mighty good.
That's right. It used to stand for something else.
Oh. Well, I mean, we started this all off talking about metabolic processes. Well, nothing works better in a metabolic process than DMG. All the ones you mentioned, every methylating step, every energy production step, utilization of other nutrients. And as you said, that leads us right into the next one, my favorite. Tracey had hers, Jamie had his. This one's mine, and that's CoQ10. And that one, of course, has only 2 ingredients. One of them is DMG, and the other is, of course, CoQ10. So if you're going to combine DMG with its perfect mate, it's CoQ10. You can't get any better than these 2 nutrients. It's my desert island supplement. I've said that many times now, and I stand by that. But if it's going to aid with oxygen utilization, then that, and a byproduct of that, it's going to aid in the uptake of other nutrients into the bloodstream that it's combined with. That's why it's in those condition-specific formulations Jamie talked about. And when we combine it with CoQ10, you just can't get any better than these 2 nutrients for energy for the body.
Joe is bringing back the OG of cardiovascular support. He's on a mission. He's like, I'm going to make it cool again. CoQ's coming back. So this is a combination of DMG and CoQ10. And why don't you give us the benefits of CoQ10? And we actually, this used to be called Power Q600. We renamed it to Enter CoQ10 because we want to emphasize the Enter DMG with the CoQ10 because of what you just said, Joe. It is such a powerful combination and safe. It's safe. That's the beautiful thing. For people that have cardiovascular, there's a lot of medications they can be on that you can't take certain nutrients with, right? Because it impacts their body too much to become healthy and they don't need those meds anymore. But anyway, this is safe. So tell us the benefits of CoQ10 as well, because let's just bring it back.
Well, you know, it's been around. It's always been one of the best. It's the centerpiece of Dr. Stephen Sinatra's heart protocol. Coenzyme Q10 is, again, one of those endogenous nutrients. It's made in the body. We make it in the same chemical pathway that cholesterol, another vital nutrient, is made in the liver.
Wait, is cholesterol bad or good?
I just said it's a vital nutrient.
I just wanted to emphasize it.
Yes, it's a vital nutrient.
You confuse people when you say that because they're taught that it's bad.
You know, it used to be called, its original name is ubiquinone, which comes from ubiquitous, which means everywhere. And it's in every cell in the body, every single cell in the body, bar none. Now, when the CoQ10 levels drop or deplete, the cells will die. If there's no CoQ10 in the cell dies. That's how important it is. And yeah, we make it, but in small amounts. And of course, you know, our lifestyle helps to destroy that which we make. And as we get older, we make less and less. So it's one of those nutrients that, as Jamie said, there is no upper level. You can take as much as you possibly can. And most people probably don't take enough. You know, they're taking maybe 100 milligrams. Or maybe, you know, is it the delivery methods? We get that question all the time. I'll clear that up real quick. Ubiquinone, ubiquinol. Two great forms of CoQ10. We have them both. In this formula, we use ubiquinone. The reason is, in its original format, CoQ10 was always fat soluble, always needed to be taken with either other fat nutrients, or eaten with fat in the meal. But with this delivery method, this chewable delivery method, then it becomes water miscible, which means the saliva is the transport mechanism to get the CoQ10 into your cells, into the blood, and into the cells. So you don't need fat with this. It doesn't have to be in a soft gel. The delivery method in a chewable is paramount as far as I'm concerned, the best possible way to get CoQ10 into your body. And adding the DMG increases that uptake. And I know Jamie lots of times talks about the periodontal health and how better can you do than having it, you chew it up, form that liquid in your mouth, swish it around. If you're having issues with gums, this is the best way to address them. So there's so many uses, but CoQ10, the highest serum levels, heart, lungs, liver, brain. Okay, that's a little important, right? Those 4 organs, yeah, I think we need that. So to me, nobody should be without it. Every adult on this planet should be taking it. And if you have cardiovascular issues, you should be taking a lot of it.
Yeah, and CoQ10 is vital for ATP, which is the energy fuel source of all your cells, especially your muscle cells. So all your skeletal muscle, your heart, liver, and brain is where you store most of the CoQ10.
Yep.
And then you got to think about, well, anybody that's on diabetic medication, cardiovascular med, blood pressure med, antidepressants, and cholesterol meds, those all deplete CoQ10 production.
Right.
So when you start taking something like Lipitor, which depletes CoQ10 by 40%, and now suddenly you're having leg pain or you're fatigued and you go back to the doctor and she says, oh, well, Joe, you're getting older. That's normal. You're tired. Well, doc, I wasn't tired a year ago. I started taking the medicine and now I'm fatigued. So then they put you on something else, right? So the problem is that these medications shut down CoQ10 production, some by as much as 50%. Think about if you shut all the power in your house off by 50%, right? That's half your house is shut down, right? So you have no power to half your house. That's what's going on with people's bodies. No wonder they're so exhausted, right? Well, they have a poor diet. They have too much carbohydrates. Their metabolism is actually dropping, and now they're on medications that are going to deplete their energy sources even more. And they go back to the doctor, and then what's the next script? Antidepressant. Folks, this is the medical merry-go-round that you're going to be put on. You got to be very careful. So if you're on any medications at all, you got to take the Q10. At least replace what you're depleting, right? The cholesterol is high probably because you're eating too much sugar and too much processed fats. Not fats, but processed fats. So we go back again to the Nido Keto Shake for breakfast. Follow our program, the Foundations with the NF for Life. Take the Q10. You can see dramatic results. I mean, this young lady lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks.
Right.
It's
so
not
good.
Yeah, that's a great start, right? It's not all about weight loss, but that's a positive benefit because the body's getting healthy. You're getting that metabolic boost. Now the body's going from storing of fat and craving with low energy. That's what people, how they feel. They have no energy. They're craving like crazy, and they're storing fat. You can shift that and get that metabolic boost in one meal.
Mm-hmm.
Do a keto shake, do the Q10, do a scoop of oranges. I saw some people saying that they do a scoop of oranges with super shake, right?
Yeah.
You can do a scoop of oranges by itself or with part of the shakes. So you can get fun and creative with this so that it becomes part of your lifestyle. You'll look forward to that instead of doing things like, what does Zach do? Red Bulls or Bangs or whatever he's doing?
I think tomorrow he'll turn a new leaf over. I think he's going to give it up. It might be a little bit grumpy at work tomorrow, but he can do it. I know he can.
He can do whatever he wants tomorrow. I'm not in the office.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow's the day, Zach.
Yes, tomorrow's the day.
Go sit with Michaela. We're
Great
dead.
minds. Huh?
Anyway. Yeah, so guys, make sure you catch all our specials this month. We have the Metabolic Boost 20% off Pro Oranges, Enter CoQ10, and Enter DMG, along with the Triple Dip Special by Jamie Dorley. Case of keto. You get a case of the travel size samples, which are great to take anywhere. So if you can put them in your purse, your luggage, it's so convenient. And then a case of shaker bottles. So, man, that is a sweet
Wow, I
deal.
think I've messed up. Okay.
Right.
Too late now.
Yeah, you're in trouble. So, guys, before we go, tomorrow I hear this rumor that you're going to be on the Robert Scott Bell Show.
Whoa!
So tell me about this a little bit. How did this amazing relationship come to be? I'm just kidding. You don't have to know that part.
Yeah, wonder how.
I wonder who did that. No, I'm just kidding. This is a great opportunity.
By Dr. Tracey Straub. She let us share the spotlight a little bit.
So Robert Scott Bell is an amazing health freedom advocate. He's been on the radio now, 22 years, 6 days a week, never runs out of material. And we are fortunate enough now to be on his show regularly on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, once a month, the very first Tuesday. However, this week we had to move it because he was actually away at a conference. So you guys are going to be on tomorrow night. And tell us a little bit about, what Robert likes from Nutritional Frontiers.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, of course, Dr. Tracey, for starting this great relationship with Robert. To listen to his story is fantastic. It's just amazing. He was telling that, the power to be healthy and heal is yours. I love that. And he really shared some really, personal topics about his health struggles, that he was getting diseases that people normally get when they're 50, 60, and 70 as a kid. And I followed a somewhat similar path in that I got an autoimmune condition in my late teens. So when hearing his story, it was just fascinating because he went through it all at such a young age, right? I mean, growing up is hard enough, and then you factor in all those. But he was like us. He wasn't satisfied with the answers he was getting, so he seeked out what they consider alternative or natural therapies. I went all the way to Europe and he healed himself. And since then, he's been a big promoter of health freedoms. He spoke at Nutritional Frontiers' last professional training event, April 12th, with yourself, Tracey, and Dr. Len Impromptu. And you guys sold the place out. And, that was the first event we had that nobody left the room even for a bathroom break. You know, there's not one person left before the 3 o'clock bell. And I think that was a huge testament to you guys having such a courageous approach to a very sensitive topic. So Robert worked with us at the event, and then we talked afterwards, and he was excited that we were interested in joining a partnership with him on his radio show. And it was perfect timing because he was looking at our CBD. And I know Dr. Weiner had a really sharp eye on the quality control of products. He was a co-founder of Nutritional Frontiers. And Robert did the same, right? He asked a lot of questions. He really knew his stuff. And when we answered them all to his liking, he was like, okay, we got a deal, right? So he loved our CBD because it was USDA organic from an organic family-owned farm in Colorado. He loved that we had the science behind it with the processing, right? With the C of A's and the third-party testing and the CO2 extraction. He loved everything about our CBD, including the options, he said. And he says the cream was a miracle worker, right? He got a really bad headache and neck ache one day, and he was putting the cream on and really got great results. And I'm excited to work with him and grow the relationship. And, you know, again, it helps us achieve our mission of making the world healthy. So, Joe, you better get a good night's sleep tonight.
You guys are going to be on fire tomorrow. I think he described the transdermal cream as a warm hug on his neck. So I think that's what he said. But Joe, are you ready?
Sure beats a cold hug around my neck. Yeah,
different than what you've experienced. Different, but same.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be fun, and he's such a brilliant man, and to be able to share, the screen and the microphone with someone like that, it's just great. I mean, I'm sure we're going to uncover a few clinical pearls of CBD that maybe he even hasn't heard yet. So I've been compiling some stuff I want to talk about.
Joe's hired 3 research scientists, a biochemist, and an organic house farmer.
I just went back over my old PowerPoint. That's all.
Well, I mean, I think, for a while, I think CBD got a little bit saturated in the market. It got downplayed by some really bad companies that tried to jump in the game. And that's what you always say, Jamie, we're not a CBD company. We're a supplement company that has a CBD line. And because of our quality control, we do that with our CBD as well. And to take and have that USDA organic seal takes a lot. And people can put the word organic on their product. It does not mean it's certified organic. That's a big difference in the industry. So I think the recognition and the appreciation from Robert Scott Bell and our line has really helped, kind of resurrect it, right, Joe? Just like we did with the CoQ10, bringing it back because it needs to. It's an essential nutrient. It does multiple things in the body, and your body, it's one of those things we need every single day. And just because a few bad companies did it poorly doesn't mean that it's a poor product. So I hope you guys tune in tomorrow at robertscottbell.com at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and check out Jamie and Joe. They're going to be live.
Yeah, that's a great point about the industry. It does this periodically, right? It does a cleansing, right? We've seen this with protein powders years ago where it cleansed a lot of them out. We saw this with all the big tablets people were, selling at a cheap rate. A lot of those have gone away. So it just takes time sometimes when there's such an excitement about a certain ingredient or formula, such as CBD. And the companies that were really focused on education and quality, like we do at Nutritional Frontiers, are the ones that are still around. A lot of those other companies at the gas station, I don't see them there anymore, right? They come and go because there's no quality, so people aren't going to get the therapeutic results.
Right.
We're not a CBD company. We actually celebrated our 13th year in business this year. The Wellness Center has been around for over 30 years. I'll be celebrating my 30th anniversary in December. I know Tracey's pushing around 20 years. Joe, we stopped counting. But we have a lot of experience on our team, and we're transparent. What other companies are, have the owner and their top VPs on, live that you can contact and talk to? I haven't seen that. The bigger companies, you may not even know who owned them, right?
Right.
It may be an investment firm out of LA or New York. You could forget about talking to somebody, right? So we're transparent. We're a faith-based Pittsburgh family-owned business. We're here to help people with the education, and super excited for tomorrow on Robert's show. I got a little something up my sleeve, Joe, so get ready.
All right, I got something up both sleeves, so we're going to get them hard. Hit them hard.
Oh, poor Robert. What's he in for? Super Don will have his hands full. Well, guys, thank you so much for all of your information you shared tonight. Remember to connect with Nutritional Frontiers. If you're not a practitioner with us already, you can go and sign up for a wholesale account at nutritionalfrontiers.com, and we'll send you a nice care package and get you set up with some education. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Enjoy the states you're in. I'll enjoy the, state of Tyrone.
The sticks.
The sticks. Yeah. But any closing comments, Jamie?
Well, I just want to thank you again, and Joe, for having me on. I love doing this every month, and thanks for getting us together, Robert Scott Bell. Folks, we're here to work with you to improve your patient results and improve your practice profits. So I'm out in the field every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's great for all of our clients and great for people in the office. So I'm here to help you, and I'm accessible. So if you have anything, even if it sounds outrageous, reach out, and hopefully we can help you guys out.
Joe, you just close us out.
Well, I'll tell you, every day I wake up and I'm grateful for the industry I'm in, the people I work with, the company that I'm involved with, because we are helping people and they need it now more than ever. And so keeping that attitude of gratitude is an easy thing for me to do these days. So thank both of you for that. And keep that attitude of gratitude, folks. You will live long, healthy, and prosper.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Holistic Truth Live right here, sponsored by Nutritional Frontiers. Join us next month on the first Wednesday of every month. We'll be back at 7 o'clock for our monthly focus in July. Until then, connect with us at nutritionalfrontiers.com.